Hello, my name is Andrew Hers, and this is my position paper presentation for my advanced marketing course. BusinessDictionary.com defines luxury brands as goods which are not necessary but which tend to make life more pleasant for the consumer. For those of us lucky enough to have been born in first world countries, luxury brands of one form or another are probably a part of our everyday lives and not something that we regularly contemplate. Yet there are questions about how the market for luxury goods affects society as a whole, with protagonists and critics trumpeting its positive aspects and its negative aspects, respectively. The purpose of this presentation is to address the main question: are luxury goods and brands a detriment to society as a whole, or are they a positive? Critics argue that luxury goods and the marketing campaigns behind them have distorted the American dream, consistently moving the goalposts of what it means to be successful and sending younger generations into more and more debt in pursuit of an unattainable goal. Protagonists of luxury brands argue that they employ millions, they serve a consumer demand, and that they also pay out taxes at a higher rate than average. This presentation will cover relevant concepts and constructs necessary to effectively evaluate the question at hand, present competing decisions and analyze their merits, present a recommendation along with a justification, and conclude with a reflection on the topics discussed. Luxury brand sustainability. Sustainability is a buzzword in the business world, and it has been for some time. It's a broad concept that has been somewhat marginalized into just being about the environment, but it's really more than that. Sustainability is defined in the text as the ability to meet humanity's needs without harming future generations. There's a triple bottom line in play when it comes to sustainability, with people, profit, and planet all being part of that equation, with people coming first for a reason. When we refer to sustainability in this presentation, it will be with a heavy emphasis on people and how marketing affects them. The social cultural environment each of us inhabits will color our perception of needs versus wants, luxuries versus necessities, and therefore makes much of this very relative. Our views of ourselves, of others, of organizations, of society, of nature, of the entire universe are all influenced by our surroundings. And it must be taken into account when examining the effects of luxury brands on society as a whole. The final concept to consider is social stratification, a class of positions within society. They're modernly split between 7 groups, starting with the lower lowers, which are those living below the poverty line, and the upper uppers, which are the top earners. Class stratification is unavoidable in an advanced society where specialization of occupations and uneven distribution of resources are the norm, as opposed to less civilized hunter-gatherer societies where there would be a greater level of equality. The main distinction between societies that are class stratified is whether they are open to social mobility or not. In most democratic societies, social mobility is encouraged. You're encouraged to improve your position in life, whereas in more rigid societies, your social position may be determined arbitrarily by some political mean or by your birth. So would society be better off if luxury brands and goods did not exist? Well, to answer this question, we'll have to examine 2 different scenarios. Scenario 1, the world as it is today, where luxury brands are available in the marketplace. And scenario 2, where luxury brands are no longer in existence, and how things would be different from the status quo. First, we'll examine the status quo, how things are today. Some advantages of luxury brands in society today are that the existence of them give those who cannot afford luxury brands something to strive for. It gives working hard every day more of a sense of purpose. New luxury brands have been popping up recently with a markup between 20% to sometimes 200% more than their less luxurious rivals, and it's been a big success, and it bodes well for the future, and it's really a form of luxury sustainability. One example given is Panera Bread, where a customer would generally be charged roughly $6 for a chicken sandwich of some level of quality to sit in comfort in comfortable surroundings, where their sales have been steadily increasing. Contrast that with Burger King, where customers would be charged about $3 for a chicken sandwich, and would sit on hard plastic seats, their sales have been stagnant. Another advantage of society with luxury brands is gratification. Studies have shown that buying luxury brands simply makes people happy. There was research conducted by Keenan and Kurtz for the Harvard Business Review that concluded that consumers who forego indulgences are likely to experience regrets later in their life, whereas those who indulge today may experience some feelings of buyer's remorse, but those feelings fade rather quickly and have no long-term effects as they do with those who do not indulge. Some disadvantages, however. The existence of luxury goods contributes to a phenomenon known as compensatory consumption. Luxury goods are naturally associated with social status and power, and those that are with low power will go to great lengths to surround themselves with material goods that make them feel that they are in more power and improve their self-image. Now, as previously mentioned, this may make them work harder and want to improve their social status in life, but some will just go far into debt and engage in other socially destructive behaviors. They may even engage in criminal activity to obtain the possessions they feel they need. The younger generation, Generation X and Y, have been hit the hardest when are under the most pressure of debt when compared with their elders. While most baby boomers were actually beneficiaries of inflation, the younger generation really took it on the chin, and in addition to that, they have the added burden of student loans, where at tuition rates that have been skyrocketing. Now, a society without luxury brands. Some advantages of that: there would be less materialism in the society. There have been studies that show that adolescents are extremely materialistic, even more so than their adult counterparts. And it can be concluded that if luxury goods were taken out of the marketplace altogether, it would go a long way towards removing that some of that materialistic impulses and contribute to less social disorders and psychological disorders that can sometimes develop from not being able to obtain those goods you need and having self-image issues. Another advantage would be more disposable income. The luxury goods market is roughly $300 billion, the luxury personal goods market, that is, and it's not hard to think about what public works could be done with that money. If you were to take that money and take it away from impulse vanity purchases. Now, on the other side of the coin, a disadvantage of that is that more disposable income does not equal more public works. There's no real way to tell how top earners would spend their money if there were no luxury goods on the market. Short of imposing a communist government with wealth redistribution, you would really have no idea. And there are also economic ramifications. The luxury goods market employs millions, whether they be hoteliers, manufacturers, restaurateurs, etc. If you move luxury brands from the market altogether, it's quite possible that the economy as a whole could collapse. My recommendation is that the status quo should be maintained. Luxury goods do far more good than harm than they do to society as a whole. My justification of that is that, as mentioned earlier in the report, luxury brands and goods just make people happy. Those who are able to buy them feel gratification. Those who are not able to buy them feel motivation. And moreover, those who are able to buy them but abstain, studies have shown that they have feelings of regret about that later on in their life. Luxury goods give top earners something to spend their disposable income on, employ manufacturers of fine clothing, hoteliers, restaurant operators, and many others in many industries. The less obvious benefit of these transactions is the tax revenue collected, with one local example being the hotel tax in Florida being a main factor of zero income tax for their state citizens. In conclusion, today's luxury will be tomorrow's standard. Luxury brands are the innovators that drive us forward as a society. What was once considered extreme luxuries, like air-conditioned rooms, are now considered necessities for a lot of us. Instead of vilifying luxury brands, we should be thanking them. It is up to the individual to decide what is truly important in their own lives and what they want to spend their money on. And truly anything else would be a violation of their personal liberty. Thank you.